In this WrestleTalk news, Tony Khan's allegiance in the Brawl Out situation has been revealed, Luke's review of Raw, and more.
Support WrestleTalk!
Yes, it's been nearly 2 months since Brawl Out, and we're still talking about it because there's always something new, and it's arguably one of the biggest things to happen in wrestling this year, along with about 17 other things. As it's felt like the investigation in Brawl Out is starting to wind down with Ace Steel's release from the company, we're getting a few more details on the remaining parties involved. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio noted that he felt like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega would be returning to our screens before long, saying that it's not official or anything like that, just a feeling. There's been teases and stuff. And he may be right, as Wade Keller of PW Torch is reporting that Tony is siding with Kenny and the Bucks more than Punk. TK has been silent on the issue since it arose, and with previous reports noting the potential threat of legal action in play, that makes a lot of sense. Interestingly, he also noted that at one point, Khan would have been more inclined to side with Punk, but that seems to have changed. There are times when Tony would have wanted to side with Punk over the Bucks and Kenny in terms of him as a wrestling fan, thinking about what he could do with Punk, the matches that haven't happened yet, the promos that haven't happened yet, the storylines that haven't happened yet. But it seems now, purely from a creative and business perspective, TK is more interested in the possible stories of the Bucks and Omega over the wasted potential of CM Punk. Well, at least we got the MJF feud. We'll always have the MJF feud. And on the subject of AEW backstage stuff, Eddie Kingston has finally been back on our screens for a little bit after the whole Sammy Guevara backstage altercations thing. In that time, Guevara somehow managed to be involved in a different backstage altercation, but regardless, Kingston has now shared on Eat Sleep Podcast Repeat what AEW HR said to him. "I can't beat up people in the ring when I want to. We're all trying to be good. We're all trying to be professional." Their words, not mine. Words to live by. After the success of the White Rabbit project in WWE and Bray Wyatt's return, many fans have been curious to see what the follow-up would be and whereabouts Bray Wyatt would be slotted into the WWE totem pole. Well, there's some good news for Bray fans, as he is slotted in at SmackDown's #1 babyface according to PW Insider, with Drew McIntyre being #2 right now. It is interesting he's down as a babyface, though I suppose that does make sense, as Bray has rocketed to be WWE's top merchandise seller since his return. One of the reasons why fans were so surprised he was released in the first place in 2021. WWE are reportedly thrilled with Bray Wyatt's return, with plans to roll out more merch soon, including plushes of all the Firefly Funhouse characters. Just going to preemptively bookmark that webpage now. I'm sure my partner will be thrilled to have a Mercy the Buzzard plush around the house. And saved. Great.
Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Hero Wars, a fantasy online action RPG game with loads of PvP modes. It's so good, it has a friendly community of 4 million players. Download it using our link below, not just to join in, but also to help us open the Forbidden Door. Because now is the best time to start playing Hero Wars. A spooky month means the forbidden door between worlds is becoming thinner. The more of you that download Hero Wars using our link in the video description below, the wider we can open a portal to the Dominion world, giving us a chance to get amazing treasure. All you have to do is download Hero Wars using our link in the video description below, or our fancy QR code on screen now, complete a short in-app tutorial, and then sign up for a free in-game account to enter the sweepstakes. We need 10,000 installs to fully open the prize portal before October 31st. The more installs we get, the more Amazon digital gift card prizes will be drawn. Only 1 entry per game ID, 18 years or older, US residents only. A list of winners will be published on our link. Every install helps support the channel too, so please do at least check them out. Thank you to Hero Wars for sponsoring this video. Jam that jam.
And now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka boy, this crowd really did not enjoy watching actual wrestling edition of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. The best thing on Monday Night Raw, the Judgment Day, opened this week's show to further their feud with the OC. California! But really, it was all about Subanik Mysterio, as he's all man according to Rhea Ripley, and she would know, because Mummy knows best. You just know that there's someone out there who has clipped that out to masturbate to. His name is Ollie Davis. Dom, who this week was dressed up like a lad who saw 8 Mile and thought, yeah, I could probably do that too, said that he was this generation's Eddie Guerrero. In fact, Eddie Guerrero was his generation's Dominic Mysterio. Legit, this was the best heel heat anyone got all night. The OC came out and it led to Carl Anderson having a match with Finn Balor. It was so nice to see Anderson have a singles match on WWE TV that was given time. For the majority of the WWE audience, Anderson is just some tag team guy who wrestled here for a bit a few years ago. But to hardcore wrestling nerds, he's the guy that had that awesome tear in the G1, even beating eventual B-Block winner Shinsuke Nakamura, and is the current Neverweight Open champion. Though I don't think we're supposed to talk about that at the moment, it's a bit awkward. So it was great to see him have this level of match with Finn Balor, and they put on a really good opening bout, which Balor won following some interference and distraction from the rest of his group. Now, you're going to hear the words distraction and interference a lot in this review, so let's get the counter going. But it wasn't just any old interference and distraction. Rhea Ripley body slammed Doc Gallows on the outside, and you just know that someone has clipped that out to masturbate to. His name is Andy Datson. Miz came out for a promo to reveal the truth behind his relationship with Dexter Lumis, but he was also wearing his wrestling gear. So my spidey sense is telling me that we're not going to get any actual truth and just a throwaway match instead. And my spidey sense was correct, as Miz made up some lies and Johnny Gargano came out to tell us that Miz was lying. He also dropped in here that Tommaso Ciampa is injured and that's why he's not been on TV for a while. Miz said he wanted to tell the truth, which brought out our truth. Get it? The truth. Comedy. Truth then did his full rap, because there are 3 hours of TV time to fill, and he had a match with his former Awesome Truth tag partner, which he won following distraction by Gargano dressed up as Dexter Lumis. Some of the comedy did work here, but not all of it, and the bits that didn't work were received about as well as a fart in a spacesuit. Damage Control beat up Candice LeRae backstage so that she wouldn't help Bianca Belair in the main event. Not that Belair really needs the help, after all she did take out all 3 of Damage Control at Extreme Rules like they were barely an inconvenience, but to this segment's enormous credit, it was filmed great, in that it wasn't, because Bayley knocked the camera over, so you as the audience were left to fill in the gaps with your imagination. It's really quite clever. Mustafa Ali then had a decent match with Austin Theory, which the crowd did not care about one iota, instead putting all of their cheers into singing the theme song of Seth Rollins, who was on commentary. Rollins distracted and interfered to give Theory the win. Rollins then continued the beatdown of Ali while the crowd continued to sing his song, but did give a bit of a cheer when Ali made a surprise comeback to stand tall at the end. And then we got told that Omos would be having a match next. Dagnabbit, I thought you'd moved to SmackDown. You don't even go here anymore. Thank you for your support on Patreon, the Vindicator Finn Brennan. Head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to get your name read out on the WrestleTalk news. We got a full video recap of Omos and Braun Strowman from SmackDown, and then MVP cut a promo telling us what happened when Omos met Braun Strowman on SmackDown. I guess we really do have 3 hours to fill, which would also explain why Omos's 4-on-1 handicap match went on for as long as it did, because it was very, very long and very, very boring, and this crowd did not care. Earlier in the night, we got an uneasy truce between Elias and Matt Riddle following their altercation last week, and then Elias beat Chad Gable despite interference from Otis. Alpha Academy beat up Elias after the match, and Riddle made the save. In some actual funny comedy, Doc Gallows told AJ and Anderson that he'll deal with Rhea Ripley because he's the best of the 3 of them when it comes to the ladies, only to come back into the room after the ad break holding his nuts because Rhea hit him in them. Genuinely good comedy. Now give us back our Quizzlemania Tag Team Championships! Please? After having a chat with Johnny Gargano in a hallway where JBL said Gargano would be carrying his bags if this was the Attitude Era, Baron Corbin beat Johnny Wrestling in a long and mostly boring match that featured distraction and interference by JBL. This was as slow and as plodding as you would imagine, and the crowd reaction, or lack thereof, reflected that. JBL also called Johnny Gargano a Gen Z kid. Johnny Gargano is 35 years old and is younger than Baron Corbin. We got an awesome video package for Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, and then we got our main event of Bayley versus Bianca Belair, which was given a heck of a lot of time and was a superb main event match that the crowd was sadly not really into. Case in point, one of the big high spots and near falls towards the end was Bayley hitting a second rope Bayley to belly following interference from Io Sky but the crowd didn't pop whatsoever for the kickout. If anything, it actually prompted liked Bayley chants. And it's a real shame because this was a damn fine match and featured a very surprising ending. Following some more interference and distraction, a mysterious woman dived off the top rope to take out Sky Kai and the referee eye. This woman then got in the ring and hit Bayley with her swinging neckbreaker, which I guess is more interference, and revealed herself to be no longer a superhero, Nikki Cross. This was full-on sanity, Nikki Cross, the personification of mayhem, and it was wonderful to see. Bayley then pinned Belair when a new ref ran in. It's great to see Cross back in a role that suits her way better than the superhero stuff, and Bayley beating Belair in a non-title match, while predictable when they announced it was non-title, is the right move if you want to continue this feud up until Survivor Series. But to show she's not on anyone's side, Cross laid Bayley out as well, then stared maniacally into the camera to end the show. It was an injection of energy that this episode really needed. It wasn't a bad episode by any means, but you really felt the 3 hours this week, and the constant interference and distractions just amplified that. Distractions and interferences, like DQ finishes, can be great when used to further storylines, but this was in every match and just done for the sake of protecting the losers. And all the interference undermined the impact of the main event interference because every other match bar the Omos one had interference. This episode was heading for a standard 3 out of 5 because it was a very good episode, but the Cross reveal got me legit pumped for the future of the Raw Women's division, so it's 4 out of 5 for me.
In this WrestleTalk news, the AEW locker room wants CM Punk gone, and maybe WWE don't want him either. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa heat, the latest on Sasha Banks does Japan, and more.